Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Love Storyteller Tarot. My name is Jeanette and it is so good to be back. It's been a while. I think the last one I did was, I think it was the July full moon in Capricorn, but I'm not too sure because I haven't even got on there myself and had a look. So, but this is going to be the new moon reading in Libra for the 19th of October, and then I'll go back to posting the full moon on the new moon again for those of you who have watched my channel for a while. And thank you so much for your lovely emails and little messages. I have read them. It's just been such a busy time for me, and when I did the last video, I pulled this card. It said time to go, so it was saying, Spirit was saying, because of the other card was chop wood and carry water, as I call it. It's the Sen saying, you know, basically it was time to go and sort myself out on a home front, which I do have now. I have my new home, and which is mine. As in, you know, it's somewhere that I'm going to be settling, and by no coincidence it's a place where I used to live 20 years ago. So it's amazing how life takes you down certain paths and in a way comes back full circle. And this is a bit like what chop wood carry water is. It's you know, the saying is, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. So, you know, you've got to come back. It's a bit like going on top of a mountain and, you know, learning your stuff and coming back down. You've got to come back into the real world. Otherwise, what's the point of it all? You know, you've got to be dealing with the real world, your real issues in relationships. So that's very much as to why I haven't been doing my YouTube channel, because it was saying it was time to go and sort the mundane things out, you know, and that's exactly what I did. And it was amazing because I was getting signs, I think it was either December of last year or early January, and I kept seeing, I can't give too much detail away, but I kept seeing a word on a bus, and which is the name of the place that I've come to, and I was thinking, what's that about? And then I would see on the new home stretch, and you know, that plus this word on the bus plus where the positioning of the place was, you know, Spirit knew, like up to a whole year before I did, where I was going to be going. And I even applied for this property a good month before Mercury retrograde in the Virgo, I think it was, and I assumed that was it, that it was gone, that there was you know, to move on and look for something else. And you know, we've got Saturn going into Capricorn December time, so it's finished retrograding now. It's heading now towards its last bit of the journey in Sagittarius, and by no coincidence that was in my 4th house of home and emotional security. And I know Jupiter's known as the one that brings you the gifts, but honestly Saturn's my ruler, and Saturn brought me this gift, and it said, I keep getting the regeneration card, which is about second chances, and because now knowing different to what you know before, you know, and doing it differently. And I thank Saturn for bringing me this gift, and it's heading now towards Capricorn, which is my sun sign, which is all in my 5th house, which is all going to be about my business. So I think the home needed to come first, because I saw a sign the same day, the same fan, one after the other, tonic, So I do believe the tonic one was this. The second one possibly is going to be the, you know, a relationship that's right for me. And then the third is going to be my business, and all of those things combined, come together, you know, will be, sorry, people outside my home, do not knock. So yeah, so that just explanation, but thank you for those that have emailed and that, asking where I was. I'm going to pull this card at the end, so I'm just going to, they were upright, put them back into the pack, and we'll see what's going on with love. Now it is the new moon, so new moons are all about, you know, planting those seeds and setting your intentions about what it is that you want. And it's you know, Libra is all about relationships of all kinds, not just romantic. And it's all about balance, you know, it's the scales, but she also holds the sword of truth. It can be karmic, so about lessons and something repeating itself and coming back round, because you're meant to do something different if you've learnt the lesson. And I'm seeing, and I've been tracking the energy, you know, I not so long ago, I can't remember which video it was, but for those that you have watched for a while, was about being on the same page. And they gave me the metaphor this morning about a book, you know, and it's not that there isn't love there between two people, but sometimes you're just not on the same page. You know, some people, as in soul contracts, you've come together and you've read the whole book before they've even finished the first chapter. You know, you've just grown so much, and you know, it's time to leave that relationship. It's time for it to change, either back to a friendship if it was in the beginning, and then there are relationships that you know, you turn a page each at a time, and you might be a few pages ahead of them, but they catch up, and they catch up quite quickly. Because like as a soul, you're either there being their teacher and they're the student, and you're helping them because you've agreed to it, or they're on the same soul level or a contract level as you, and you've come together, and you're very similar and learning on the same path, learning the same things, and you love and support each other. Or it could be that, you know, you're the student and you're with somebody that's more advanced and more knowing possibly, and they're showing you the light, showing you the way. It varies, but you know, they just said to sort of talk about a book, and sometimes at the end of the book, at the end of, you know, the story, from an ego's perspective, it's not always a happy ending because it's the ego's perspective, but it will be the right ending or transition that's right for your soul contract and for, you know, the divine purpose, the higher purpose. And so this is very much about this new moon balancing things out. So if we've had those eclipses, I just wanted that energy to go over so it settled down a bit. And then I got a sign, you know, YouTube was on the TV, on the news about something, and then on one of my programs I watch, I then saw Luna, and I thought, yeah, that's it, that's the time to come back. So yeah, this is what we're going to be looking at, about being on the same page. And for an example, being on the same page, you've got to be honest, because, you know, age-wise for a woman and having children, and if you're, you know, not on the same page, but somebody else is, then, you know, you've got to be honest with the person that you're with and explain where you're at, and that, you know, you want children or whatever it is that you require, and they may not be ready, and you know it's come to the end. I've been seeing it myself, and with the readings, I still do private readings, You know, go to the website. It's self-explanatory, all on there, and I'm happy to support you. But is that everything I wanted to say? Oh yeah, I did want to say that so that you don't create karma. If, you know, at the end of the day, like I've always said, you are the only one that knows everything that's going on in your life, and people and readers and family members and friends, etc., can only give you advice based on the information you've given them. So if you've only ever told somebody half the story, then you'll get advice or support on that part of the story. So you know, you've got to discern for yourself, and that's what I'm writing the second book now. That's what it's all about, is helping you to be fluent, you know, in the language of symbols and what it means, but what it means to you, because it would mean something different for somebody else. And these readings are general readings, you know, you never make a major decision based on a general reading. And it might only be one message that's right for you, and you know, you drop the rest, and that's what it's about. They're here to support and guidance, but you know, always trust yourself. So there's something around balance, relationships for this new moon in Libra. So let's go on and see what the tarot cards want to say with that in mind. So, I hope you are all well, you're all doing good, and you know, thank you to my those regulars that have readings and etc. You know who you are. I love you all. So let's take a look. Oh, well, there's a benefactor around this new moon straight away. That's what I got. There's some sort of benefactor coming in, or possibly somebody that you already know, because this is all about giving and receiving, you know, it's the masculine and the feminine, so it is about balance, it is about balance, it is about justice. So for some, you know, there is some justice and karmic justice, because this can also come under, you know, courts and laws, and sometimes divorce as well. So because they're sorting out, if you're married, of course. But there is something, a benefactor of some kind that's going to be of great support, or can be somebody from your past, because this card can represent the past, but the energy is of kindness, of support, of love, and that's coming in. That's the energies coming in, as to why you might already know them. Oh, and it's all around strength. So around this new moon, it's about being strong, but it's that gentle strength. It's not about being aggressive to get what you need, to get your needs met in love. It's not about that. It's about being assertive, and there's a difference. And there's also a difference about being loving instead of nice, you know, and that's what I was going to say. If in relationships, if you've been in one, and you don't need to create drama to end a relationship, okay? Do it differently. If you know that's the way it's heading, it's coming to the end of a chapter or the end of a book, your soul contract with somebody, you don't need to create drama to end it. All you've got to do is be honest. And yes, that takes great strength to do that, especially, you know, for people that are in marriages, or there's children involved. you know, but that's what they're saying, is there's no need to be aggressive, because sometimes, because it's subconscious, sometimes because we know we have to do something or end something, we'll start finding fault in the other person, and you know, then the blame and the shame starts to come, because you want to feel better about yourself, because you don't want to feel guilty or bad, and I think that's what it's saying here, is, you know, either you be the benefactor in love, and you give the strength, your inner strength, and that gentleness, of kindness, and just being honest, and yeah, that can be a scary place, because you're vulnerable, and you don't know where it's leading to, what would happen, if that's the case for you, but yeah, this is all about tapping into that inner strength, that inner kindness and assertiveness. So because there's a lack, there's like poverty consciousness and beliefs around the physical, around finances, and you know, not wanting to go there again, for those that have experienced that. And that doesn't have to be financially, that can be in other ways as well, because this can be very much on an emotional level. But you know, it usually shows up when there's hard times, when you're needing to be thrifty, or feeling that you could possibly, maybe you need that inner strength because you could possibly feel as though, you know, you've been kicked out in the cold, or this is your thinking, oh God, you know, where is this going to lead? Where's it going to lead to? Am I going to go into poverty? Am I going to lose everything? So it's fear-based, because this is like projecting into the future. You can always change the future by being in the present. And by being in the present is, you know, is tapping into that inner strength, that inner confidence, and taming the ego, the lion within, so that you don't project this out into the future. But there's always solutions, always a solution. But sometimes we don't see the solutions because they come in different forms. And what I've been learning, you know, recently is about not being attached to form. I mean, you know, I've said about not labeling things, a relationship, not naming it, let it grow organically. You know, rather than projecting onto it how we want something to be. So again, this is the same. It's about because there's life there. There is life there. But let's see what it's the rest of the story is trying to tell us. Yeah, because this is somebody, you're talking about your earthly character. Your Capricorns, your Virgos, your Taurus. This is somebody who's stable, brings stability. You know, this is more concrete and earthly, very industrious. So it's all about work and working hard, and you know, harvest time really. But this can also be like a test or a challenge you put yourself through, because remember, it's about learning something, because something needs to be balanced, and justice. So there's some form of justice around, you know, the Libra archetype, which is all about being sociable. It's the air sign. It's all about being sociable, getting out there, relationships. But this guy is quite a, you know, like I call him the plodder. because he's steadfast. He might grow and develop slowly, but you know, he's steadfast. He can come across as a bit boring, so can be missed by, so will be seen as an opportunity. So it'll either be that that's who you know, who you've been. Maybe you've been cautious, maybe you've been taking things slowly because of what's happened in the past, but that's who he is. But he's coming into the present. So, you know, whether your paths have crossed yet or not too sure. But he's somebody that's steadfast. And this is the page. So we've got very earthly readings in this, lots of coins. Because this is all about, you know, can be messages on a general level. It can be a physical, tangible message, something that you would see in your everyday life. But it's very much the student. And remember, I was saying about like on a soul contract level, student, one being a student, one being the teacher, and it could be then that you swap it around. But this is very much about tangibility and doing something, learning something, or studying something that brings concrete survival techniques, really, because it is about the earthly element. But in reverse, it's maybe somebody, there's a delay on study, a delay on learning something, going to school, doing a course. Because remember that your life purpose is always fluid in your romantic relationships and what's happening there. You know, it can be that it's all that and you're going through a single cycle, or it can be that you're in a relationship and you're needing to do that, but you're too focused on the relationship, and then finding you know, all the excuses not to do the study. But this is very much about something new, but it's in reverse. So we'll get some cards out on it, because you're needing strength to do this. You're needing strength to turn this upright and to go for it. That will be in the here and now, because remember, it's about something new. The new moon is about planting new seeds and starting a new project of some kind. Oh, and we've got the Ace of Wands. So this is about having the energy to do it, because if you don't have this energy, then, you know, it will be sabotage and not being able to, like, put things together. But this is very much about an enterprise. So very much about an enterprise. Maybe in the past, or coming up to this new moon, I can't remember what the full moon is in, is you know, you've been steadfast, plodding along, carrying on, and maybe now which will bear fruit, but there's something you need to learn, or a skill or something to make this enterprise come about, because you need this energy. But this is what's at the heart of the matter. So this seems to be what the block is. And of course, for those that have children, that it can represent young children. So that could be to do with a child that would come under the same signs, you know, the earthly signs, Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus. For those of you that's affecting that, or waiting for, this could be just a delay, but we're out of that Mercury retrograde now, because this is a benefactor. This is the benefactor. This is somebody being generous, or for some, you're needing to be generous because somebody might be blocked, because we've got the lack of finance is here, and the strength card in between. Maybe for some it's about sometimes having the strength to say, oh yes please, I need help, I need help. You know, so maybe for some it's about that, around a course or something. But yeah, for this new beginning, for you to be able to, it's about an enterprise, and you know, giving birth to something. This is because this is about passion. It's fire, and can show up here for a new relationship as well, because you need that energy, that enthusiasm to right. So I see this wizard as because this is all about options and choices, and in the past, coming forward, it's about looking at all your options, looking at all your choices, and you know, that brings stability and steadfastness. It's because you want financial security and emotional security, but this is on an emotional level, and it is about maybe too many choices, not knowing what to take, because then that blocks you. It blocks you because it's like there's too much to choose from. Well, what shall I do? Which course shall I do, or which study shall I do? You know, that's about too many choices. But there are options there, and it's about looking at those options. Or in the past, it was about looking at those options, because this is all about knowledge. The High Priest is very much about knowledge, and it comes like with institutions, your banks and anything, hospitals, anything that's like under something, governed by something, because there's always governing bodies, no matter what courses you do, to protect people, to protect yourself and to protect others. So for those of you that are healers, I suppose, and in that sense, that would come up. But it is in reverse, because this is also about the masculine and the feminine. You see, it's about balancing the two, very much about knowledge and education, and this is coming up in reverse, which is around study. So seems to be about that at the moment, and you know, it is about conforming upright. It is about conforming, following the book, following the rules, doing it right. But in reverse, maybe there's a block because looking at something differently, maybe like not conforming, not maybe it's not about doing it that way, maybe it's about finding a different way to do it, but it seems to be quite, or on emotional level, maybe thinking outside of the box a bit, because it's all around balance. You see, this is about, remember I was saying something about a second chance earlier, like 20 years later, and then a second chance comes in, and this is all about that. 2 is about balance again, about balancing, and we've got coins again. So there's something around a balance for this reading, around this new moon. This can be having to take a second job for those of you that might need to do that, to do with this course or study, or to do with the child, and that in that way. But yeah, it can be a second job, second chances. You know, you've got the affinity sign there, but you're going to need strength because she has the affinity sign over her head. So there's something around your love situations, possibly to do very much the physical world, because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coins cards in this reading. So I feel Spirit saying you really got to be grounding something. That maybe that's why I needed to bring those cards out. Time to go and chop wood, carry water. So it's not about living as, what do they say, pie in the sky. You've got to be living the concrete reality of your life and what's going on for you around this time, because this is all about creating balance and stability. But the rocky sea is behind, but it's about strength. It's about having the strength, the courage, the confidence to do what you need to do. The unconscious sort of energy that's going on is around competition and pettiness and who said what to who, and that sort of energy, or that can even be in the workplace. So for some of you that maybe are needing to break free and break out to do with work or creativity, even starting new completely, there might be those inner demons, you know, that can sabotage and say, well, you know, who do you think you are doing this, that sort of thing. So it can be your inner demons or your inner dragons, because these are very much about the dragons. And remember, you've got to come from a higher perspective, because you know, in Avatar, in talk, he comes from above and deals with the situation and finds a solution from above down. But yeah, this can very much be, you know, people sort of talking behind your back, maybe in a workplace, that sort of thing, and one saying one thing, one saying another. And saying that, they've just reminded me of a situation. And somebody just said to me, in a working environment situation, and saying, oh, well, you keep your friends close and you keep your enemies even closer. And I thought, very interesting. One, that told me I wouldn't trust that person to even try and create a deeper relationship with them. And two, you know, that's old behaviour patterns. That's childhood survival patterns. As a child, that person might have needed to do that when they were a child, because that's what they were taught, or that's what they saw. But I can tell you that screws your adult relationships up, friendships, intimate relationships, romantic, whatever, that sort of way of thinking. So there's no way I would, you know, even consider going, having a friendship with that person. So what they're saying is, you know, take time to listen. And people are not bad people. We're not bad people. It's just patterns of behaviours that were developed to survive as children, that needs to be changed. The patterns need to be changed. But yes, so, you know, people will tell you who they are if you're willing to listen in a very short time, and that goes with your romantic relationships, or maybe what's going on with somebody or a child at the moment, because there's something going on that needs rebalancing. But let's have a look what these cards are saying. I just need a sip of water. Right, well, to do with this benefactor, I mean, this is like destiny. So it's either if you're in a position that you're able to help others, then you need to be doing that because that's part of your destiny. Or it's, justice is, she's rebalancing things, and whether that's to do with something to do with a court situation or legal documents or whatever it is, she's coming in and saying that's going to be rebalanced because this is the destiny card and it's on this card. So something that's very much going to happen. That's your destiny. Oh, right. Well, this, at the heart of the matter, is to do with the masculine. So it's the masculine energy. Now, it's either the masculine energy that there's a delay on him learning something or studying something. So there could be a delay on a course for the masculine, or it could be to do with something to do with for the masculine who's got children. It could be to do with something there, but it's around the masculine energy. So I'm going to get a few more cards out on that, just to see what it's saying. Oh yeah, definitely. There's something you're needing to be strong about around this new moon, and because this is very much about strength. Like I said, the inner strength. This is about being bold. Being bold, being strong around a situation or a person, and because this is very much about strength, and it is on the strength card, but being bold, being courageous, and this person, for some, not all, can represent somebody. This is like a protective bear, like a protective person, but he can also be quite tall. I mean, somebody who's 5'4", and the masculine is 5'10", I suppose, would still be tall. But it's the other person, the masculine, is tall. It can be broad, big, strong, or can actually be like a protective bear. But something that's needing to be, because this is the fate card, and it's not like the Tower in the Tower cards, but it can be something that's very, very deep and from the past. I think there might be like a subconscious pattern, and that this poverty consciousness of lack is there, and this could be somebody that's from the deep past, but it's showing also the foxes can be the manipulator, can be cunning, and can either be cunning in a good way to get what you need, or it can be cunning in a what's it way. But it is the sly fox. So it's either the person having the reading like they need to be, or because but we'll get some cards out on this one to see, or this night. But there could be two different people, so let's get a few cards out. They're definitely to do with business, this enterprise, a business, something flowering, but that's in the future. So that's planting your seeds on that new moon and then going into the future. But around that time, you're going to be needing to be strong around a situation, either around a situation to do with a child, or like I said, to do with study, that sort of thing. But yeah, that's about opportunity or options around happiness, and you know which is going to bring you, like I was saying earlier, about being on the same page. It's not about maybe that you don't love that person anymore. It just means that you're on different pages, and what might have been acceptable and okay isn't now, because people grow and develop at some really fast rates. And you know, I think people don't, even when opportunities knock in for happiness, people tend to hold on to the past because of the lack of what's happened in their past. And then even when happiness knocks on the door, it's like you can't actually believe it. You couldn't believe the benefactor that's there, and then possibly the saboteur would come up. But yeah, this is about love, the heart of a situation, and this was coming up as education, but this can also come up as marriage, because it's about, in other cards, him blessing the people that's in front of him, and a priest does marry people, so that can be a divorce, the way I read it, and it is in reverse. So, but there's definitely to do with love, and a situation where you've got to tap in, you've got to be tapping into that assertiveness, no aggression, because of the fives. Fives are like restricting situations, and you do have the power to change things, but only to a certain degree. But this is very much about you know, a return to happiness. But there has been, on this Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus guy, I don't know if they're the same people, same person, but that can be about work. So maybe for some of you, you either need to go into like a new enterprise, and you're not going to meet this person unless you do, or a new job, because that you know, this is where you'd meet the person and where it would create balance. It could be that, yeah, because there's something there. Like I said, don't create an argument if you feel or sense a relationship's coming to an end. Don't go into the blame and the shame and the throwing the stones. And it's got to be, if it's gonna transition into something else, it's got to be done in a way, because this is all about holding your tongue a while. Maybe because this is about facts, being objective. Maybe there's some facts that you're needing. You haven't got all the facts. Yeah, because it's about being objective. And what is one person's fairness is not always another person's fairness. So, you know, you've got to consider the other person. But let's get some clarifying cards out on the man, heart of the matter. Holy Spirit, what would you like to tell us? The most important message, some clarifying cards. Oh, and there you go. It's amazing. You've got the Page of Pentacles come up, but this is in reverse. That one's in reverse. And it's around the masculine, but this one's upright. So something needs to be turned upright. They either need to, this is either a child, and something needs to be sorted with the child, or a project of some kind needs to be completed. Oh, and then we get the Six of Pentacles again, which comes up there, and that's about something about destiny. So it's to do with this guy and offering help. Offering help, because there's the benefactor to do with this. So it could be, yeah, there's the benefactor to do with this, and this is all about truth, ideas. So maybe there's going to be an idea, but yeah, and she holds the sword of truth. That's what creates the balance. But that is definitely new ideas, clarity, new perspective, seeing something differently. And I said something like that earlier around this guy. But let's just pull some on. So he seems, you know, the good guy that's destined. But let's get some clarity on this Knight of Pentacles with the fox on. Yeah. So it looked, or it feels like this person was blocking. This person was blocking independence for somebody, because it's around study. So this person, due to woundedness and patterns, because that's about large-scale business, and get, you know, this is wealth, this is independence, independence ready for interdependence, which is when you collaborate, and because you've got your 333s there, which the 3 on its own is all about collaboration, and then you get your 6, which we've got on those ones, which is, you know, that benefactor. It's that the support that you need to become independence, which then you move to interdependency. But it just senses and feels, because of the fox here, someone acting mysteriously and, or, you know, was around somebody's independence in the past, for the Queen of Swords, and she's the air sign, the Libra, the air sign, the Libra. But this reading, just because it comes under the archetype of Libra, isn't just for Libra, but it would maybe be more supportive to your sun, moon and rising Librans. But yeah, she's very much about, you know, she tells the truth. She can be very aloof and distant, so, but it's around her. So the Libra energy is coming up here, and she needs to be more of the Queen of Cups, more warmth, more compassion, more subtle, more softer, more warmth, because she can be quite aloof, distant. So, or obviously that could be two different women. It will be different scenarios for different people. So let's just get a few on here if we've got time. Yeah, let's just get a few on the heart and see what it's trying to say to us. Oh, wow, there you go. we've got the 5 coins come back up, Pentacles. And that's to do with the past. Lack. Feeling of lack. Remorse. Remorse. Regret. Around this knight. There you go, this knight. There he is there. Yeah, there's lack, there's remorse, there's regret around this knight, or the knight is feeling that way around the Empress energy, and she's upright. She's about nurturing, and that's what's needed, or was needed. But the Queen wanted her independence, or valued her independence more than the relationship. I'm not too sure, but this is very much about the Empress, abundance, nurturing, and very much comes into creativity or giving birth to something around that situation. Okay, let's move on, see what the romance angels want to say, please. Most important message. Do with the romantic love. Separation. So either there's going to be a separation, because this card can come up around separation, and you've got to get on the same page, I'm sensing, where any separation is, that you're both on the same page. You might have a separation just to get an objectivity, to be able to stand back from the emotions of a situation. Oh, my leg's gone asleep. But you both got to make it clear, as you're still going to be loyal to each other. In other words, you're not going to sleep with other people, because what you're trying to do is, the first step is to explore your feelings, and to have the separation. Time apart from your partner is on the horizon. So for some of you, it might be around this new moon that might possibly be happening. But you've got to be on the same page, make it clear that you're just maybe physically taking time apart, because you want to get to a point where you can be objective and feel your feelings and look at things objectively, because otherwise you can be like really emotionally drawn into it, and then you can't see clearly. But yeah, make sure you're on the same page as to what that separation means, is what they're saying. Make sure you're on the same page. Both sit down and agree, what does that mean? What does that mean? It doesn't have to mean the end of the relationship. For some, it could be to do with work, and people might be separated. But if like I sensed earlier, if you sense something is coming to an end, it doesn't have to be drama, because you don't want to create that for your next relationship. How something ends, it begins. You want it to be done differently. So you're still going to be, monogamy, and be trusting and loyal to each other. It might be that they go to council and you do, separately, and then come together and both go to council. It could be any sort of scenario, really, as we're reading for so many people. But let's see if they can try and answer you. Let's get some spiritual guidance as to, after these cards. So pause your video, and the best you can, let's see if they can answer. You're ready is what the message is. They're saying you're ready. There's nothing more to be done, basically. is what they're saying. There's nothing more to learn or to know, or you're ready, and that'll be different for everybody. You're ready for whatever your own intuition is bringing up for you. I don't want to spend too much time. I'll pull the last one. Yeah, so you know, focus on what it is that you do want, not on what you don't want. Okay, you've really got to be focused, and that possibly why that card, but that could also mean children. But you've really got to be focused on what it is that you do want. Oh, I just wanted to flip out. And maybe, you know, take some time out, listen to some music, and maybe your own guidance system will be, maybe put music, you'll be hearing the words, and those words will mean something to you. I do feel your spirit guides will be trying to connect to you through music, and plus it will be uplifting you, or you'll be getting the messages via that. Now, I don't know these cards too well, but I just want to quickly pull one of these to let us know where we're at. Chaos and conflict. Okay, so they're saying, you know, there has to be chaos, and don't be afraid of conflict. But when there's a reordering of something, because remember we've come out that Mercury retrograde, we've come out of those eclipses, that is going to be, the energy is going to go on for the next 6 months, you know, and there needs to be chaos to create something new, but you don't need to create drama. There's a difference, okay, because it's a reordering. Be true to yourself, say what you're feeling, and then spirit can come in and move the furniture around, you see, so that but yeah, it may seem as though your world's being turned upside down, etc., but it's not. There's a higher purpose to it, and we'll just end with Whisper of Love. We're just more gentle. Love endures. So basically that's what that card is, you know, true love, which is your inner strength, your soul. It endures. Love does not give up or lose faith. Love is hopeful and withstands every situation. So you've got to have strength for what's going on. There may be chaos and conflict, because it's about rebalancing things around this new moon. But, you know, have faith and trust, because love does endure. There we go. I hope that helps. It's lovely to be back, to connect. Please like, share and subscribe. And I will be back here. I'm not sure what it's in. The full moon, which will be posted on this new moon. Then we're back to where we were before. And as I said, still doing readings, so please reach out. And I hope you have a good new moon, in that sense that, you know, this helps you and supports you through whatever you're going through. Okay, lots of love. Namaste.